Welcome to Churches, a presentation featuring selected churches of the Mediterranean. Seen through the eyes of music and video producer Curtis Marcellin, as he travels through the region. Visiting various cities and coastal towns in France, Spain and Italy. Places where history intertwines with spirituality. From Mount St. Benedict, Trinidad and Tobago, he embarks on a cinematic journey of enlightenment. To the allure of the Mediterranean, capturing spectacular churches, each one a testament to devotion and craftsmanship. Just a few miles down the road from Cassis is the town of Ciotat. While Cassis is mainly a tourist haven, Ciotat was a major port and industrial center. However, because of changing economic fortunes, it has now transformed itself into a pleasure boat harbor that can accommodate megayachts, and is a major shipyard. It is still a tourist center though, largely because of its scenic location on an extensive bay, where tourists and residents alike can take part in various water sports. Ciotat is famous for the Eden Theatre, the oldest cinema in the world. In 1889, Louis and Auguste Lumière first screened films there. Eden Theatre is still operating today. Through it all, standing guard of this beautiful harbor, is the Église Notre Dame De L'Assomption. A 17th-century church, built in a classical Romanesque style, overlooking the old port of Ciotat. The Romanesque style is noted in the semicircle of its vaults and openings, the external buttresses and the massiveness of its walls and pillars. It was painstakingly restored over a period of 15 years. Today it serves the religious community as a place of worship, as well as an occasional concert hall for classical music performances. There are three nave, cross-vaulted, with semicircular arches and massive square pillars. In the 18th century, the church was enriched by its high altar. It is remarkable for the variety of its marbles. Above the high altar, you can see a sculpture of the Assumption. The organ, recently restored, dates from 1663. The stained glass windows and the rose window in the pediment are remarkable. The Stations of the Cross, made of fabric, were donated in 1976. The texts are by Paul Claudel. More contemporary artwork is also prominent. There are two paintings by Tony Roux, located at the back of the church, depicting man and woman. And there are also three very large frescoes by Gilbert Gantome, who is a French painter and sculptor, native to Ciotat. In these frescoes the artist intends to evoke our present world, and more particularly the town. He wishes to relate the life of Jesus, the biblical story, reflected in modern times, to children, especially. The first two frescoes represent the liberation and the redemption. The third represents the resurrection, and the universality of the church, meaning that the church should reflect the beauty of the cosmos depicted through the different races, black, white, yellow, and red. This mural is intended to convey anti-racism sentiments. In his depictions we see images and themes that are not so explicit in historical church art. For example, there are illustrations of women in the nude, and an urge to relate life experiences in Ciotat to the biblical story. The Procession of Our Lady of the Assumption is indeed a significant event and celebrated here in Ciotat at Our Lady of Assumption Church on August 15th each year. From the streets, the procession takes to the water, where boats are blessed. Paintings of the nude female form in Notre Dame De L'Assomption, Ciotat, have raised some eyebrows. But, historical art in churches, paintings, sculptures, frescoes, has portrayed nude forms of the human body, for example, the works of Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel in Rome. Today, however, many people feel that it is inappropriate for an artist to depict nudity in art meant to be displayed in churches. Their key reason is that such art is inherently pornographic and will distract persons from meditating on the divine. Others have a different view. Some say, yes. Michelangelo in the Agony and the Ecstasy says, "I will paint man as God made him, in the glory of his nakedness." Pope Benedict XVI, quoting the Greek philosopher Plato, said, "The principal effect of beauty, as seen through art, should be to give the viewer a healthy shock." Others say, it depends. John Paul II, although portraying the body in art raises a delicate problem, it does not follow that the human body in its nakedness cannot become the subject of works of art. What do artists say? While the church is a place of worship and surrender to God, art can make that more meaningful by how it interprets the biblical story, providing new ways to understand familiar accounts. If art is good art, if it is true art, if it is beautiful art, then it is bearing witness to the author of the good, the true, and the beautiful. Art has the power to help people engage with the stories and sermons, to offer context and perspective that fills out the truth of what is being preached. What do you say? How do we choose to see? Do we see in black and white that nudity is opposed to anything holy? A sacramental worldview, on the other hand, sees all things from our interior, and in light of God.
Visiting this church has forced me to reflect on our own churches and the relationships which they have developed with the communities within which they exist. This church has made itself an integral part of life in La Ciotat. It is clearly central to a lot that happens within that town. Upon entering the church, the strong community presence is quite evident. The activity taking place within the open offices of the church, the emphasis given to children, the regular hosting of community-based events at the church. All these have indeed strengthened its community presence. The glitz and glamour that we have witnessed in other churches is absent here. The strong religious decor has been replaced by community-produced finishes. This church is simply an ordinary church. Yes, an ordinary church giving extraordinary service to ordinary people in its community every day. I invite you to continue choosing your favorite church as we go through the series, and link with me via email or WhatsApp. At the end of the series, I'll tell you your choice, the people's choice. I'm Curtis Marcellin, looking forward to you joining me once again in yet another episode of the series Churches. Peace.